Hi, welcome to another Cliff Notes Tuesday. I'm Devin Asaro, SEO Content Strategist at iAcquire. Today we're going to be wrapping up our summary of Content Strategy for Mobile by Karen McGrane. She ends the book with two messages to her readers. One, it can be done. You can design content and content strategy for mobile. And two, you can do it too. She ends with a sort of a brief case study of cancer.org and their journey towards developing a site that was not only mobile friendly, but actually designed for the particular users that were using their mobile phones. They were trying to make decisions about how they wanted to design their site or redesign their site with mobile in mind, and they decided against sort of selecting a subset of content to display for mobile users, because they found actually that all of their content was important to be shown on mobile. Looking into their analytics, they realized that a lot of their users, over half of their users, were actually viewing the desktop site on their mobile phone, and that people actually were interested in reading all of that content on their mobile devices. And they wanted to shy away from creating a site that was designed for, as she says, the on-the-go cancer patient. It was really designed to be accessed with mobile as the primary device, because they discovered that the groups that are least likely to get screened for cancer, low-income African Americans and Latinos, were actually the most likely to be accessing the website on their mobile devices. So it was incredibly important that all of that content be displayed on mobile. Karen McGrane describes their situation, which will probably sound familiar to anybody that does content strategy. The organization they were working with, like many organizations, did not have a nimble CMS. It wasn't just running on WordPress where you could create plugins. It was a pretty bulky thing. So they actually opted against creating a separate workflow for deciding what content would be displayed for mobile versus desktop. They actually built it into a single workflow, and all of the decisions about whether or not the content would be shown for mobile were made on the server side. And they also had sort of some technical issues that got in the way of them creating a responsive site. It didn't make sense for them to do that. It would have actually added a lot of time onto the project, and it was urgent, so they decided to create separate templates for the mobile site. And as she points out, creating a responsive site might actually save a lot of organizations time, whereas for cancer.org it would have been a huge roadblock, which, as she says, goes to show that there's no one-size-fits-all solution for mobile content strategy. Now, cancer.org was successful. They actually doubled the number of visits from mobile devices onto their site. And they were successful for a few reasons. One, they did everything right in actually preparing their site for mobile. They really thought things through and thought about their audience. But two, they also just had great content, and they didn't need to cut the content down or cull it for their mobile audience, because the content was all the things that not only mobile content but all content should be, which was nimble, clear, concise, and easy to understand, and that translates beautifully to mobile. Next, Karen sort of delivers her message to the audience that you can do it too, and there's really 10 simple steps that you have to really pay attention to in order to make sure that you're doing it right. First step is that you need to stop guessing what your mobile user wants, because you're going to be wrong. 2, do your research, get the facts, and create buy-in. 3, figure out how to create a unified experience across platforms. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, but there has to be cohesion. 4, use your transition to mobile to get rid of content that just isn't doing well at all, using content audits and other tools to really figure out what's working for your organization. 5, don't create content that's just specific to individual platforms. You're not creating your mobile content and your desktop content. You're just creating content. Figure out how to make it work wherever it is. 6, create content packages. Think about all the individual elements of your content and where they're going to need to be displayed and shown on various platforms, and use those to create unique experiences. 7, develop a workflow. This workflow should ensure maximum reuse of content with the least amount of effort required to repurpose it. 8, develop content that isn't specific to its presentation. The content shouldn't be defined by where it's shown, but what it's about and what it does. 9, make sure your content management systems are actually helping you and not hindering you in this process. 10, actually invest in CMS tools that are going to allow for multi-platform publishing. It's going to help you in the long run, and it's worth the investment. So that's it for Karen McGrane's content strategy for mobile. We hope you've enjoyed the recap, but to really get all the information, you got to dive into the book. There's a lot of great resources here. The next book that we're going to be exploring is Joe Pulizzi's Epic Content Marketing. This is a great resource talking about how organizations can use content to tell their story and gain more customers. Hope you've enjoyed it.